shit.
Hey everybody, it's Benny One, and I'm back at you with another movie review, and I'm finally moving on from the Friday the 13th movies. We're moving on to the third Friday the 13th movie, and it's part 3D, everybody. That's right. They put in that cheap 80s 3D gimmick in this movie. It came out in 1982, everybody. The first four Friday the 13th came out a year apart, 80, 81, 82, 83. At least I think part 4 did. I don't know. It may have came out 2 years afterwards. I don't know. I will tell you in the next video. So, this movie obviously sees the return of Jason Voorhees himself, everybody. And when we last saw him at Camp Crystal Lake, Camp Blood, whatever the hell you want to call it, he had a potato sack on his head with one eyeball cut out so he could barely see. And then we got to see his nasty, ugly face in that whole dream vision sequence that they have at most of the end of these movies. So we get the ugly Jason in this movie. He's completely bald, and they made him look even more ugly. And I like the guy that played Jason in this movie. I really do like the guy that played Jason in this movie. He's got like these really long, awkward, dangly arms. He looks awkward as hell. And I don't know if they did something to the actor physically, like underneath his clothes, to make it look that way, but the dude looked awkward as hell. He was perfect, I think, as Jason. And this actually is the movie that Jason finally gets his iconic hockey mask, everybody. That is correct. And it's like halfway through the freaking movie, he gets the hockey mask from this character that is at the camp with all their friends, and he's a jokester. He likes playing tricks on people, and he likes doing pranks. And so he comes out of the water when one of the girls is at the dock, and he's in like a scuba suit and everything, and he's got a hockey mask on, and he's got a harpoon gun. And that's how Jason gets the hockey mask, because he kills that guy. And then that's how he gets the mask. And we also get to see him use the harpoon, and the movie is loaded full of very cheap, gimmicky 3D effects. Like when he fires that harpoon, you can see the freaking wire that it's traveling on, for one thing, into the camera. The 3D gimmicks in this movie are horrible. Like when they show, before the halfway through the movie, you get to see the classic. You just see his legs, you just see his arms with something killing somebody. They actually don't show like the whole body and everything until he gets the mask in this movie. And when he's doing the swinging thing, they literally show it like coming right into the camera like this. It's just cheap. Or there's this one scene where he gets an axe in his head and he goes, "Ugh," and it's like this in the camera. Ooh, 3D effects. It's just very cheap. Very, very cheap. It was very gimmicky, and it did not make the movie, it didn't add anything to the movie, in my opinion. Even if you were rocking those old school red and blue 3D glasses, it was a poor gimmick. And that's kind of where, I like the Jason in this movie, and I actually kind of like the story with our main girl character in the movie. The rest of the characters are all just kind of forgettable, like most of these movies. But she was at this camp a few years prior to this, and she's very uncomfortable coming back. Like, they make that very known and obvious with her character. And you find out later in the movie that it's because she was actually attacked by this person in the woods that was very disfigured, face in the face, ugly as hell. You find out it was Jason. So she escaped, and now she's back, and he recognizes her. Like, when he sees her finally, he recognizes her. And so I feel like that's kind of cool, but this movie doesn't really do anything new or take the franchise into new territory or new ground. It just kind of does what the first two did. I mean, it almost is just like the second one, except for he finally gets his hockey mask, and there's another group of kids hanging out at Camp Crystal Lake, having sex, drinking, getting murdered. I mean, and they just added the cheap, gimmicky 3D effects. I mean, this doesn't really do anything new for the franchise. I will say that the kills are upgraded in the movie, though. I will say that. There is a scene where a guy, one of the characters, is doing a handstand thing, and they show Jason, like, chopping this dude in half. Like, it just, like, there's some brutal kills in this movie. There really is. Like, that's the one thing I've noticed is the kills in the movie. Most of these movies, as the movies go on, they get really brutal and hardcore as the movies go on. So, but overall, I'm going to keep this one kind of short and sweet because this one doesn't really add a whole lot more to the franchise. It's just more of Jason killing a new group of, not kids, but people at Camp Crystal Lake. Like I said, the main character it's interesting because of what happened to her prior with Jason, even though you didn't know it at the time. But yeah, Jason gets his hockey mask, and you get to see some really shit effects in this movie, like horrible effects. There's a scene where the main boyfriend to our main girl character, I probably should have got their names down, but oh well. The characters in these movies don't fucking matter anyway. So he squishes this dude's head, and the eyeball literally shoots out on a wire thing, and you can, holy hell, you can tell that's fake. Wow, the effects are bad. Out of the first three movies, the effects in this one are the worst without a doubt. So, but I do kind of enjoy the movie still. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I do think it's entertaining still. I do think there's better Friday the 13th movies, but yeah, so a 7 out of 10 for Friday the 13th Part 3 or 3D, however you want to call it. All right, everybody, hope you guys enjoyed that review. Thanks for watching, and be catching you on the tube laters because I have spoken.